Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms, including Facebook and YouTube. So if you're joining from either place, please feel free to leave us a question or a comment. Hopefully I'll be able to go through them and answer them all as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. But let's get started here with a look at what we're tracking out for the next couple of days. Well, through the rest of tonight, it'll be clear and cool out there. Temperatures will continue to sink down into the lower 40s. And then looking ahead to tomorrow, we will warm right back up into the 70s, and we'll hold on to the 70s here through Wednesday. But we do have that next system expected to move in Tuesday into Wednesday, bringing that severe weather potential mainly Tuesday night late and into Wednesday. More so on Wednesday as that cold front passes overhead. I think that's when we'll have the better chances for widespread showers and storms. And then looking ahead to the end of the work week, we will cool out and dry out, or cool down and dry out through the end of the work week and into the first half of next weekend before some more rain showers move in headed into Sunday. But let's take a look at what's going on out there right now. We have a nice area of high pressure built into our west, so that's going to keep things nice and quiet here, not only for tonight, but for the most part, we'll stay quiet through tomorrow. We do have that chance for maybe a few showers late Monday evening and into early Tuesday morning, but the better chances for those showers and storms are definitely on Tuesday and into Wednesday. Today we started out, woke up to some cloud cover. It took some time for the clouds to kind of dissipate off to our southeast, but when they did, it opened up the skies and it was a gorgeous Sunday. So hopefully you were able to take advantage of it after being rained in all day yesterday. Looking at our high temperatures, honestly, it stayed on the cooler side. It was expecting to pop up in the lower 60s here in the Evansville area, but we only topped out in the upper 50s, and then we topped out in the lower 60s there to our south in Paducah and out towards Bowling Green. Still running above average, though, with those temperatures today. We were running around 4 degrees above normal, but just off to our west and to our north, we were seeing temperatures running anywhere between 10 to 25 degrees above average. So that's going to be the kind of warmth we're expecting here headed into tomorrow and into the rest of the work week through Wednesday. But looking at those temperatures now, temperatures have settled into the upper 40s to right around 50 degrees, 50 in Owensboro and Madisonville, 51 there in Henderson and Fairfield, sitting at around 49 in Huntingburg and here in Evansville, all with mostly clear skies. And as we go through the rest of the night tonight, we'll continue to see those temperatures drop down into the lower 40s, and then we'll pop back up into the 70s through tomorrow with partly cloudy skies. And then there's that chance for maybe a stray shower headed into Monday evening. So let's time that all out here. Looking at our hour-by-hour forecast, we'll wake up to mostly sunny skies, but it looks like some cloud cover will fill in fairly quickly through the day, and it'll be in and out with that sun through the afternoon. And then as we get into Monday evening, there's that chance for maybe a sprinkle or two, and then again overnight into early Tuesday morning. But for the most part, tomorrow is going to stay mostly dry. Tuesday into Wednesday is when those chances increase for those showers and storms, and then we dry out nicely through the end of the work week and into the first half of the weekend before a few more showers work their way in by next Sunday. So here's a look at the severe weather potential headed into Tuesday. Much of the tri-state still only outlooked with that level 1 out of 5 risk for a few severe thunderstorms. Areas to the northwest of Evansville, primarily southern Illinois, including Edwards, Wabash, and Wayne County there. That's where they're sitting in that level 2 risk. And then the better chances for severe weather still off to the north and west through central Illinois and northern Illinois. I think they're sitting at a level 3 out of 5 threat there. But that level 2 risk does translate southeastward headed into Wednesday as that cold front passes overhead. So I think that's where we'll have a little bit better forcing for a few more showers and storms to become severe. And again, we're not looking at any sort of widespread outbreak here within the tri-state. It's more of a routine severe weather risk. Kind of perfect timing because today starts Severe Weather Preparedness Week in the state of Indiana. So I'll talk about about when we have those statewide tornado drills a little bit later in the show. But taking a look at how everything times out here, that warm front will be well off to our north by Tuesday, and that puts us in that warm sector. So warm and moist air funneling in from the south may prompt a couple of spotty showers or a pop-up storm throughout the day on Tuesday, but the better chances for any potential severe weather doesn't arrive until overnight at this point into early Wednesday morning, mainly off to our northwest. And then I think the better chances for more showers and storms arise with the cold front passing overhead Wednesday afternoon and into Wednesday evening here within the tri-state. So if we start to see, the trends of the timing here favor more Wednesday, we may be able to scratch off Tuesday. But at this point, some of the models are still lagging on to Tuesday for some severe weather potential. So stay tuned to the forecast through the next couple of days as we fine-tune everything. But we'll clear out here overnight Wednesday into Thursday, and we should stay dry through the end of the work week. Now, in terms of what hazards we may be facing, it looks like all hazards are on the table. So that does mean we have the potential to see some damaging wind gusts, maybe some hail, and even a few tornadoes can't be ruled out. And we're also looking at, those showers and storms packing a little bit of some heavier rainfall. So we do have an isolated risk for some localized flooding, mainly to the northwest of Evansville for Tuesday, and then just off to the south and west of the tri-state headed into Wednesday. So not a huge flooding risk here, but any storms that train over the same area, you may come across some localized flooding issues with that. And in terms of how much rainfall we're expecting, we're looking at anywhere between an inch to an inch and a half. It does typically take a long time for this to load up here, so I'm waiting for that. There we go. So it looks like the lesser amounts are going to be expected across portions of western Kentucky, with higher amounts expected through areas of southern Illinois and just to the north of the tri-state through south and central Indiana. Looking at those flood alerts, we don't have any flood watches or warnings at this point, but we do have some river flood warnings that will continue here along the Ohio River, the Wabash River, and the White River there. Mainly the White River and the Wabash River, that's where they have the potential to see some moderate flooding, and I can show you those flood stages here right now. So looking ahead at our Ohio River flood stages, the only areas that we're concerned with some minor flooding is in Newburgh. You're already at that minor flood stage today at around 38.9 feet, but you are expected to crest at around 41.7 come Tuesday, and then out towards Mount Vernon. Not quite in that flood stage just yet, but you will reach there by the time we get into Wednesday on the 11th. You'll crest at around 38.3 feet, and then down towards areas like J.T. Myers and Shawneetown, you'll be cresting in your minor flood stages there by the time we get into Thursday. So keep that in mind. But again, I think the better chances for flooding is off to the north along the White and Wabash River, especially Petersburg and Hazleton. You'll crest in that moderate flood stage there by the time we get into Tuesday and on Wednesday, and then areas like Mount Carmel down towards New Harmony, you'll crest in those minor flood stages there for Thursday and into Friday. So maybe some minor flooding issues along the banks of the rivers, not seeing any issues along the Green River there in western Kentucky. So that is good news. And I mentioned today was the first day of Severe Weather Preparedness Week in Indiana, and to kind of kick off Severe Weather Preparedness Week, they are going to do a statewide tornado drill on the 10th at around 9:15. So that will send a notification to your radios, not your cell phones, but weather radios. Your TV and radio stations may also run a test message, and this is a good time to just practice where to go. Make sure you guys have your severe weather plans in place. It also coincides with our alert day on Tuesday and Wednesday, but again, the greater severe weather threat will be on Wednesday. So to be seen if they kind of move that tornado drill with that potential for severe weather. But as of right now, it looks like they're still going forward with it on the 10th. So you won't get a notification on your phone because your phone will disregard it because it will come through as a test. And in terms of, sirens, that's up to the county if they decide they want to sound the alarms at that time for that test. But you will get a message on your weather radios, and you will get it on TV and radio stations. So keep that in mind. Use it as a time to prepare, even if there's not anything headed our way necessarily at that moment. You just want to make sure everybody's got their plans in place. Let me go ahead and check out some comments for you. Looks like Tony asking about the rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. Hopefully I answered that for you already. Good evening from Cheyenne and Suzanne. Drew asking about a tornado watch Tuesday night and a Wednesday all day. Too early for that. They don't really issue watches until a few hours before anything actually happens, and we don't issue them. So no way of telling, but the National Weather Service will give us at least a heads up whenever they do. All right. William asking what the rainfall totals of the past week's events were like. Let me actually see if I can pull up a quick graphic here. We have a graphic that kind of goes over how much rain we've gotten each and every day this past week. Let me see where that is. Just one moment here. Okay. If it loads, hopefully I can show you. Here we go. So looking at this past week, we at least got 2 to 3 inches just in the last 3 days. We got 2.27 inches there on the 5th and then 1.24 inches there on the 7th. So that totals to around 3.4 or 3.31 inches just over the last 3 days. And then you add in a couple of tenths of an inch there, we're looking at closer to 4 inches of rainfall just in the first week of March alone, which is more rain than we had this entire winter. I know we had a lot of snowfall, but the snow doesn't actually melt down to a lot of liquid equivalent precipitation. So this rainfall has been mostly beneficial because a lot of the tri-state was dealing with either abnormally dry conditions or even moderate to severe drought in some areas. All right. Good evening to you, Jeanette. Ashlyn asking about Vincennes. It looks like you're still going to be within that risk for some severe thunderstorms, Ashlyn, for both Tuesday and Wednesday, but mostly on Tuesday it looks like that threat for Wednesday shifts more to the south of Vincennes. Is Morganfield, Kentucky going to be involved in the worst storms? No way of telling that right now, but you are outlooked for at least some severe weather potential, as we all are. So stay tuned to the forecast. All hazards will be possible, so it's entirely possible we see some damaging wind gusts, some hail and tornadoes, but as far as the coverage of those and the intensity, we still need to fine-tune those details. At this point, it's just a possibility, so we're going to take a very close eye, or keep a close eye on this over the next couple of days. So stay tuned to the forecast. All right. That is all the questions that I am seeing. What about Muhlenberg County Tuesday night through Wednesday? You're also in the same outlook as everybody else. So, the models don't really go out that far, at least the high resolution models. So in terms of timing and where it looks like the worst of the storms will be, we don't have that information yet. We're going to have to wait. But hopefully those details will become clearer here through tomorrow. All right, so that is all the questions that I'm seeing right now. So I am going to hop off the live stream and I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe and have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you again later.